Can I tell you something?
No.
Okay. Anyway, listen, I changed my outfit before I started recording
Oh.
because I just want to tell you what I was wearing and I want to tell you why I changed. So I had on a really cool corduroy cheetah print, like leopard print jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had on with it Patreon exclusive this sweater over it. So like really crazy, cool, funky, fresh patterns going.
Uh-huh.
I felt like a really cool person.
Uh-huh.
But then I got on camera and I was like, I can't be my brother's sister for 40 years and think that I can get on camera and not be called Teresa Giudice in a Bill Cosby sweater. And so I said, let me just spare myself
The
the
heartache.
shit and
Yeah.
just change into my raggedy Old Navy sweatshirt.
Yeah, listen, I think first of all, I'm glad that you see me in that way, that the second that I see something, I will make a comment. But also, I want to say, sure, you probably don't feel as cool as you did when you were wearing that cheetah print. I have questions about the
Yeah.
cheetah print, by the way.
Leopard,
Leopard skin.
leopard.
Can I just make a comment? This is a tangent. As a man, I have
Uh-huh.
never been into like the cheetah print and the leopard print. I know it has traditionally been done, I want to say, for the male gaze. I will say that. Cheetah print stuff, is it really for the ladies or is it for the men? Um
I think that ladies have reclaimed the cheetah print. I don't
hey,
think that
if that
we're
makes you
doing
happy. If that
I
makes you
don't think
happy.
that we're doing anything for the male gaze. I
Really?
don't The outfit I was wearing today, I think is probably the coolest I've ever felt, but I'm
Mhm.
1000% certain that my husband looked at me and was like, "What the fuck is she wearing?" But I don't care cuz I was like, I've never felt cooler. I felt
That
cozy, I felt cute, I feel funky, I felt fresh. It was
don't you
awesome.
feel more comfortable and more relaxed in this beat up old, what are you
No,
wearing? Sweater?
listen, it's important right now. I do feel very comfortable because I'm not wearing a bra and I'm
Oh.
in the softest clothes possible. But that's different than that's only because I was afraid of the criticism from you, who you are male
I
and
am.
your eyeballs would be giving me male gaze and it would be negative. And that's not coming because I'm like, oh no, my brother doesn't think I look hot. It's because like
Oh, it
it
should
would
be.
just be no, what? But it's just more like I don't want to get made fun of.
I know. I'm
But
sorry.
that's different. That's different. It's like you're my last bully.
Oh, first of all, can we? I have never
No,
bullied you.
you've
Come on.
never bullied me. Okay, let's just
If
clear the
anything,
record.
yeah, let's clear the record. The abuse went the other way. Just
I don't
FYI.
think so. I don't think so.
There
I
was
don't think
abuse.
so. No, 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 no. Hey, happy 420.
Oh, I got to reply back to our friend. She text messaged me. I was in the middle of a meeting. I meant
Uh-huh.
to reply back to her with a picture. Anyways, happy 420 to you as well. Um, the other question I have, jumpsuits, right? And I
Yeah.
think I've mentioned this to you
Yep.
before.
And then the
That
answer is yes.
there is, I don't feel, and again, I hope I'm not speaking for everybody there, but maybe I do hope that I am speaking for everybody there. All I have never seen a jumpsuit on a lady and been like, oh, that makes me that tingles my spider senses, if you know what I mean. It feels uncomfortable to me. It feels like a lot of work if you have to use the bathroom.
Yep.
But again, I feel like now if you want to talk about like reclaiming a piece of clothing, I think a jumpsuit is by the gals and for the gals, and I'm happy for you.
Anytime you see a gal in a jumpsuit, you're going to fucking compliment her. Like, I think that I've never seen another woman in a jumpsuit and not been like, that's a sick jumpsuit. Like, my husband's been making fun of me lately because it's really something I've like started to do a lot more in the last year. And he just fucking rolls his eyes. He's like, you're so annoying. But I love complimenting other women. Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much, especially if it's something like unique. If it's a cool piercing, a
Hmm.
really like cool tattoo. I just love to compliment a woman. And you know what? When you if you women complimenting women, you have never seen another woman happier than like
Oh,
when a woman is like that's a really great jumpsuit. And she'll probably say something like, it's super comfortable. And she'll do like a high kick or she'll show you her pockets.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just like a I don't know how to explain it, but like it's like a jumpsuit just makes us feel like agile but
Yeah.
cool. Like it's just I kind of feel like a toddler because it's like definitely something I wore as a toddler. But
Yeah.
there's just something about it that just makes me it's like jumpsuits are by the girls for the girls.
This
Yes, we are butt naked in the stall when we have to pee. The whole thing is off. And we're all talking about it. If you're in a bathroom full of ladies and somebody's going in with a jumpsuit, you kind of just, I jokingly, I'm like, well, time for me to get butt naked in there. And they're like, haha, of course, it's a jumpsuit. But like, it's just, yeah, I think that we've reclaimed that jumpsuit
good.
completely.
Good for you.
Mine, by the way, was like a corduroy one that I was wearing earlier. And it
Mhm.
had these like tabs here. And it was kind of like a utility suit, like almost like a safari suit. It
Yeah.
did remind me of our dad. Like, it was just it's so cool. Maybe I'll wear it later in the week and when I record my Housewives episode this
Yeah.
week, but
Just wear it around the house. It does, it does feel like it is versatile. You can also get underneath the sink and do some plumbing if you have to.
like, I think a utility piece of garment is so funny, like, when I go on a website and they're like, "Utility jacket, utility" what utilities?
Get in my car, turn it
Yeah,
on.
what are you talking about? What utilities? Like, electrician? I don't understand. But I do love it.
You
Um,
want to? I want to. So you mentioned like complimenting ladies, and you really
mhm.
kind of enjoy that. You want to know like the male version of that I recently discovered.
What is it?
And I talked to my friend about this. I like how you automatically your tone shifts. I said male.
And I was like, ugh. Who cares what men want?
It is it's when you go to the gym, right?
Mhm.
And when you go to the gym for like, regularly or whatever, and then there's like a buff person, a buff dude. Because here's the one thing that I've learned.
A
All
bub
this
boy.
working out, all this working out, no woman gives a fuck. No
Mm-mm,
woman gives a
mm-mm.
fuck how much you work
We
out.
don't care.
And after a little while, all you realize is that you are working out. And I think we talked about this when we are talking about the
Mhm,
manosphere or whatever. You're working out for male approval and you're
mhm,
working out for male attention, even though you
mhm,
think initially that whatever.
mhm,
But when you go to the gym and there's like a buff dude, or
mhm.
sometimes there's like a group of buff dudes, and there's like, there's like the little
A
cliques at
gaggle
the
of
gym,
guys.
a gaggle of guys, a gaggle of dudes, right? And then
Uh-huh,
there's usually like an alpha in the dude, or there's like a group leader because he's like
uh-huh,
usually the most vocal one or whatever.
uh-huh.
Sometimes when you're like walking past the gaggle and the alpha just gives you like a head nod,
Ah!
and you just give him a head nod back. You pretend like it's nothing. We're just two bros going to the gym or whatever. In the moment, right? You feel so cool. It's so sad. I was talking to my friend. And it's like if like one of them gives you a fist pound or like the like bump shifts, and if that dude is like black, you're like, I feel like the prettiest girl in high school.
Oh my god. And then do you
Yeah.
masturbate later thinking about that
See,
moment
this is
or
disgusting. Did I say? Did I say you?
No, no, because here's the thing,
I'm not
okay?
asking what's going on in the stall after you're butt naked. All right.
No,
Jeez.
we're literally peeing and like asking each other for tampons. Like there's nothing going on in there. No, I'm just joking. That's really nice. It's really nice that men have a thing with each other where they
No, it's
fist
just
each
a
other's bumps or whatever it is.
yesterday I was at Walmart and I was checking. I was like leaving. Walmart they make you show the receipt because it's in their
Yeah.
self checkout, whatever. I was like two people away from this person, and he's like a buff dude at the gym, right? And
Uh-huh.
like I think he was there with his child or whatever. And he was like turning around because we were both just waiting, and he saw me and he gave me a head nod, and I was like, in the wild, I got a head nod in the wild.
But like why did he give you a head nod?
Because he recognized me from the gym,
Oh, he
bro.
knew you from the gym. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
it, got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Wow, that is special. That's really cute. I like
43 and single, by the way.
I like to think that that's the start of heated rivalry. I mean, if you think about it, that is
Oh,
kind of what
again,
happened in the shower, right? Where like Ilya kind of just like looked at Shane and like gave him a head nod, but then it was because Shane had an erection. Whatever. I'm just saying.
he was furiously jerking
He was
off. Yes.
jacking it. Okay. Anyway, well, you know what? Not to shit on you guys, but I am glad that men have a thing with each other where they're like,
It's a head nod. A head nod. A
a
fist
head
bump
nod.
is just a fist bump is a diary entry. A fist bump, I come back and I say,
Dear
"Dear
diary,
diary."
somebody fisted my bump today. Listen, I'm not really thrilled with men right now, which is
That's
why,
new.
which is like more so than recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm glad that men have. Okay. This is my segment.
Exists.
Just barely. You know, I saw a thing, and maybe this is uncomfortable for me to talk to you about because you are my brother. But I saw this TikTok today. It came across my
Oh,
thread, so
that's
it's
a great,
probably yeah. So it's a
great source,
yeah,
trusted source.
it's a trusted source. It's a scholarly journal, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
But somebody was talking about how female sex is literally made, the female body is made for pleasure, and the male body is actually made for reproduction if you really think about it, because the male body, every time you are aroused or you orgasm, you release the component to make children, whereas women only make that component for like 2 days out of 1 month, out of like 2 days a month for
Mhm.
so like, there's 24 days total that women, maybe it's like more like 12 days, 12 days
Yeah.
total in a year that women are ready for reproducing. Really, if you
Okay.
think about it. So this idea that like women's bodies are made for reproduction is actually a lie that the patriarchy told us, when actually it's men's bodies that are made for reproduction, and that's the only thing that they're made for. Women's bodies are made for way more than that. They're actually made for way more pleasure than just reproduction. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, hold on. It is fascinating, and I think about the pleasure that women's bodies are made for on a nightly basis. Um, I just want to say, first of all, like, that logic is also the same logic that men that you would hate use to cheat on their spouses and to marry younger women, because they're like, well, my seed is, I'm ever fertile, right? My seed
Yeah,
needs to
that's true.
spread. My seed, okay, I have knocked up this one woman, now I need to go find another woman. That's the
Oh, you're
argument for
right.
biology that people make. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say maybe TikTok isn't the place where you want to be looking.
Well, also because what is also interesting is that like male pleasure that is meant not for reproduction is primarily the type of pleasure that like gay men seek. And so that's interesting, isn't it?
It's not, because as a male, I will say that pleasure. What the? How do we get on this thing? When you do, you have, yes, there's a source of pleasure one way. There's another
Uh-huh.
source
Uh-huh.
when you do the thing that the male body is meant to do
Uh-huh.
for the purpose of reproduction. That is
Yeah.
also
You
a
can
source of
say
pleasure.
ejaculate. It's not
Yeah.
weird.
Up, 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 up. That is also a source of great
No,
pleasure.
I know, of course, but that's what I'm saying. Women don't release the component needed for reproduction every time they
Hmm.
orgasm. Men do. And so men's bodies are made more for reproduction. But I do hear what you're saying, where it
Yeah, that's
is a
what
little
awful
red
people.
pilly.
It's
That is
extremely
what the
red
red
pilly.
pill
That's
people.
that's the basis for all the red pill shit. That's the
So
basis
guys,
for.
the lesson to be learned here is don't listen to TikTok. It is not a studied source. Okay.
Yeah, just run into me at the gym. Give me a head nod.
Okay, I think that men should be okay. All jokes aside, I'm going to say something and you're be like, "This is you going into a heated rivalry place." I think men should be doing more than just giving each other head nods and fist bumps. I think
At the
that you guys,
gym?
yeah, like in general, I think that there is a great like pleasure that women get
Hmm.
from complimenting each other.
Yeah.
And I wish that men would do more of that to each other, because I do think that in general, as we've been documenting and talking about, especially on this particular podcast, men are not okay.
No, I would say that obviously there is a deep psychological revolution that needs to happen with men and kind of how we interact with each other and also how we interact with the world, right? There is this, there's this like whatever, this rat race that you live. And I don't know if it feels more pronounced to me as a man. I do feel like overall in general in society, that is more pronounced for men in terms of like having material things, having,
Mhm.
being successful, having a nice car. And again, those things at the end of the day, you do it so that you can attract the opposite sex, or even
Mhm.
I'm not sure how this works in queer circles, but like for men, a lot of the reasons why you try to be successful is because you can attract a more attractive partner. And usually when I say attractive partner, for all the guys that I know, all it basically just means is that you're looking for a hot woman to notice you, right? That's what it is. Do men need to have a conversation with each other and kind of figure that out for ourselves? Absolutely. What I will
There's
say
like,
is
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
what I will say is there are, if you find a good group of men, right? And when I say good group, these are just fellas in your life. Um you can have those conversations. Like, I feel like I have those conversations with my closest friends, even though we don't agree on a lot of things. You have those conversations, but we just have them in our own way, right? We'll bitch
Mhm.
about things, we'll complain about things. We won't necessarily say that we're not okay when we're not okay, but we'll just say, hey, we'll get to it some way. And then, somebody will get drunk enough and then they tell you. So it's a
Mhm.
little bit harder. It's not as convenient as I think it
Mhm.
is for women, where that's expected to be part of the relationship. But I feel like it's happening more and more, and I think it's absolutely necessary. Like, I think that having somebody to talk to is actually great. But instead, a lot of times we, channel that energy into things like sports, like talking about sports. Like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? That's where we kind of channel it all. But yeah, I hear you, man. Like, people should be talking to somebody that they're close to so they can get shit off their minds. It's always good.
I was talking to a friend of mine about like how there's even among with women, you
Mhm,
can tell the women that have done a bit of, you can always tell the women that are doing the work. You can always tell the women that are doing some unlearning. Like I
mhm.
always say that there's people on the internet. I was texting this in the group chat that we're in with our brother this morning. Is
That
like
was, by
we
the way. By the way, can I just say, fascinating. 8 a.m. You two just going at it. That's
This
like,
is what happens when you have children. You have to be up at 6 a.m. Like my day already started. I was already at my third cup of coffee at that point. So it's just like, let me fucking rail into him about the dangers of the internet. No, the thing is that I often remind myself this, and I've been repeating this a lot, is that we are actively sharing the internet with people who have to charge their devices in their parents' bedroom at
mhm,
night, right? So there are young people on the internet, but I think that from a media literacy standpoint, that those people have about the same understanding of the internet as like, people that are like closer to our mom's age, right?
mhm,
But there are still people, there are millennials and Gen X people who genuinely are also at that same level. But I think the reason why that happens is because the work that we talk about, like doing, like you have to do the work, you have to do the work on yourself. You can very much tell the people who are not doing the work. You can very much tell the people who have done no unlearning, right? And so I often get on men because men aren't talking to each other. There's whatever loneliness or whatever the fuck it is, and all these things,
loneliness or whatever the fuck it is. It's just loneliness. Yes, people are
whatever.
lonely.
Yeah, but like I think that that thing, that unlearning is actively not happening with men, because with women it's like women will go to therapy and then they'll fucking therapize each other, right? Like
Mhm,
I started going in therapy in 2018. Most of my best friends, one of my best friends, Talia, her mom is a therapist. So she grew up very much in the therapy world. And she was like, yeah, this is going to change your life. You're going to love it. My other best friend, Allie, she started going to therapy in like, I don't know, 2013 or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
very early on therapy people. But I have a lot of friends who didn't start going until later. Our cousin didn't, like, we talk about it all the time. And but like when your friend starts therapy, you're like, as women, it's like seeing a girl in a badass jumpsuit. When your
Mm-hmm.
friend starts going to therapy, you're like, oh my god, this is good. You're gonna love it. This is gonna be so much fun. You're gonna change. It's gonna change you forever. But from like the point that you yourself start therapy till the moment that your really close friends start therapy, those of us who are in therapy really start to like put in the seeds into our friends, because I think women in general, we want the people that we love, the people that we care about, to like also gain from our, like, whatever it is that we're succeeding at. We also want the people around us to be that successful in whatever that is. Like if
Mm-hmm.
it's mental health, my therapist had to tell me, "Hey, you got to stop therapizing your husband. That's not how that works." Right? Like I think that they're like, I bullied you about that. I used to tell you all the time, like, my favorite part of therapy was I would go to therapy and then I would text you about what I just experienced, because
Mm-hmm.
it's always important to like talk to the people that you care about the thing that you're experiencing. And so even in those conversations, when I would like talk to friends, like, oh, I went to therapy and this came up, you can immediately tell the people who are not interested in hearing you and not interested in doing the work and not interested in unlearning, right? But you still put that seed out there and you put it out into the world. I feel like with men, one, I don't think that men are talking about how they go to therapy with their friends. And two, I don't think that there is any desire to put that seed into your friend's mind about like, I'm doing this thing to better myself and I think that it would be good for you too. And maybe men do, but I feel like the common desi straight man that I know of my age group is not necessarily doing that, right? And I think that I'm bringing all this up because I read a fucking horrific article on CNN. Like, horrible stuff on CNN. I heard just over this past weekend 3 stories
Yeah.
of horrible stories. One is a man in Louisiana
Mm-hmm.
murdered 7 of his 8 children
Yeah.
and his wife and and his ex-wife and and somebody from her family. There's a judge, a former judge, I think. Judge, is it? Or like a state um attorney or something like that, Justin Fairfax.
Oh,
Let me look up.
He was a lieutenant governor of Virginia.
Virginia,
Yep.
right? Um, like he was born in 1979. He's a millennial, right? It was
Yep.
like our brother's age. He there was a murder suicide.
Yep.
His wife was leaving him
Yep.
and he murdered himself. And like, so I see these things, I see these stories. There's also another story about this like rapper named David. I don't know who he is, but there was
Yeah.
a 14-year-old girl found in the trunk of his car,
Yeah.
that one was missing. They finally found, and he was arrested recently, right? And then on
Yeah.
top of that, on CNN, I read this article that came across my desk, unfortunately, about 62 million visits a month to some website called motherless.com globally.
Mm-hmm.
62 million visits a month on this website, where you have a forum of people who are teaching each other and posting videos of how to drug and sexually assault their partners and
Mm-hmm.
videotape it
Yeah.
and watch it and share it and make money off of it. And so like, I'm saying all this stuff about like, I always shit on men. Oh, like, you guys should do more. You guys should just suck each other's dick. First of all, I do think everybody would be happier if they just did that. I just want to put that out there. But the other thing is,
Talk about putting your seed into your friends,
yeah,
spreading that seed.
talk about spreading that seed. But I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, there is that part of it where I like go way too hard on the other side. But my point is, like, jokes aside, it is so fucking important to talk to your friends, like men. It is so important to talk to each other about real shit. And I think that it's just like a vulnerability thing. They just don't want to do it. It's like too weird. Like, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to, what do you mean talk about my feelings, all that shit. But I'm saying if you guys really talk to each other, you probably would know if your friend is a fucking weirdo who goes to motherless.com. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think that I see women doing so much better for themselves, and the more women improve themselves, it feels to me like the men are so intimidated by it that they're just regressing in the other way, and it's fucking terrifying.
Here's what I'll say. Uh, so you're like the thesis, I guess, of like men um needing to talk about their feelings more and having therapy and basically opening up to each other, that needing to happen more. I agree with that. I will sign off on that. I will say that yes, I think everybody's life improves when they have an outlet, when they are talking to a therapist, when they're not holding their feelings inside, right? I would say it is a pretty big jump to make, about like, the man in like the men in your life, or like the men that not going to a therapist and drawing a conclusion to somebody like Justin Fairfax. Like that is unfair, because
Okay, no, I'm not saying.
there are also women that obviously, postpartum depression is a thing, right? There are women that do harm in the world also, which again, I feel like I don't believe that anybody is born evil. I think that these are all these are things that are learned through the world or whatever. I think that men cause way more harm in the world than women do, I
Thank
would
you.
say.
I was gonna
I
say, I was like, you better take that back right now before I pull
I
up a
under
statistic on it.
I understand those things, and also the reason why that happens is because men can cause more harm because men have more power, and this society is made for men. So when you
Mhm.
have that, and you have somebody that isn't using that power, they're not using their own power responsibly, and they're not in touch with their own feelings. That's how bad shit happens. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you there, right? I just think that there are some very small steps that need to happen, before we can make a large conclusion to something like the David thing, or something like the Justin Fairfax thing, or like the motherless thing. Hey, listen, man, like I know that, just kind of from being a dude myself, and like kind of being 43 now, and kind of reflecting back on how pop culture has trained me, or into like being attracted to certain types of things, or thinking that, not even being attracted to certain type of things, but being given permission that this thing is okay for you to sexualize, like
Mhm.
that, talking about a MILF is okay for you to sexualize, talking, or like a young cheerleader, which has been like, a young cheerleader or barely legal. Like these are things that are mass produced for male consumption, right? And they've been mass produced from the time that I was a kid. So like I grew up, even as I was turning into a man, I knew that an older man being into a younger woman is a thing that is as natural as, it's supposed to be like the most natural thing in the world. And it's because that's how it has been produced, that's how it's been mass produced and kind of shown to us as consumers. That's how it's been made for men to consume over the years. And it's because we've had some really really shitty men in
Also,
charge.
because men have control. Yeah, the shitty men have controlled the media
Exactly.
that has
I
made us think that way, right? Like,
Yes.
and also it's because, like, in the turn of the fucking century, in the 1900, like in like the 1960s, women got rights, and we were like, wait, hold on, and the media was coming in, and they were like, wait, before these women get too empowered, let's just push this out there. We like young girls. Try to make
Yeah.
yourself as infantilized as possible. And now, like 75 years later, we're all like, pump the brakes on it. I think it's fucking weird when men are into tiny girls. I think it's strange. And I don't really want to look like a little girl anymore. Like, there is that
Well,
part of it. But
so
this
there is
motherless.com is not even about children. It's about men doing this to their own wives.
There was this
And
horrible case in I want to say in France where a woman discovered that her husband, and I think they'd been married for something like 40 years.
yes, it's all related to that whole thing, the
Okay, yeah, because I know there was a
Dominique
case.
Picote
Yeah,
case, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And before even like the mass media stuff, the reason why there has been this allowance of men being allowed to like fetishize younger women is because that's also kind of how society worked, man. Like, I don't want to get too deep into this, but like, it's the shit that it's a part of our culture for sure. It's a part of every fucking culture. It's been a part of every culture going back to like the days of King Solomon. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you just get a new younger bride. Like, a king had like 500 brides. That was just the way
Uh,
that things work.
it's because they had too much reproductive material to give out,
Yeah,
so they were just
because
like
of
because of
because of what the
TikTok.
TikTok said. Yeah. King Solomon was strolling through TikTok and he was like, oh shit.
Only 12 chances with the one woman. I don't think so. Load me up. Give me as many brides as possible.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's horrible. It's
It is
horrible. And
horrible.
I understand what you're saying. Like, it's a huge jump. And I recognize it is a huge jump, right? And I'm not saying that a man is not going to go to therapy and then he's going to do that. But
Then
I'm
he's gonna be
just,
on motherless.com.
no,
That's
but
so horrible.
it was horrible. But I think that the thing is that these people that are
Mm-hmm.
doing this are probably not in therapy. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm saying that there is, I think that it could never hurt you. Like, I'm not saying that the fear is, oh my God, I will become that person. But I think that the recognition that men need to have, that they are not infallible, that they are not like immune to this kind of influence. We know
Mm-hmm.
people, regular people, we know married people, we know guys that we grew up with that are, they like Andrew Tate. They
Yeah.
like him. They think that he's admirable. Like, I think that there are people who look up to Elon Musk, and it's very easy for them to overlook, oh yeah, like whatever, I know he's problematic, but like he's a genius, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are people that can overlook those things, right? And I'm not saying that they're going to cause harm, but they're raising children, right? They're raising boys. They're raising young people who then end up consuming these like toxic parts
Mm-hmm.
of that culture unknowingly. Like, I don't think that these men are trying to raise children that are going to be bad, that are going to cause harm. But I think that there, similarly, like I was saying, that there needs to be some like active unlearning and active like recognition of what we're consuming in media and what we allow to be spoken about and the kind of jokes that we make and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think that there is so much opportunity for men, good men. You're a good man. My husband's a good man. Like,
Oh,
for
I'm a
you
piece of shit, by
guys,
the way. I'm a scumbag. I'm
no. But here's the thing. You're a scumbag because you're like, LOL, not my problem. I'm not gonna deal with it. But I think you're not doing scummy things. But you are hanging out with a lot of scummy people. And I think that there is an opportunity for you to be like, hey guys, we don't have to be scumbags.
It's
How
just
about how about we
how
don't
about we just
be scumbags?
how about we not be scumbags, and how about we just shove our seeds into each other's mouths? I mean, maybe that's the thing.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I think that I'm not saying that there is a direct pipeline, but the
Mm-hmm.
pipeline is there. You know what I mean? It's like the pipeline is being laid out to end up in that place. And I just wish that there would just be, I think rather than dismissing and say that could never be me, I think men need to pause and say, "Oh shit, we have a real fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do something about it." That's my only point.
That is admirable. I would say that that is probably something that's not a bad goal to have, right? I think that Andrew Tate thing, it's interesting that you brought it up. For me, that was a real turning point in kind of how Turning Point USA.
you were you were like, "Whoa, the guys I know are bad guys."
No, because so I still remember the first time I watched an Andrew Tate short. I think it was on YouTube or something like that. We're scrolling
Mhm.
through or whatever, and I came across this thing, and it was this guy. He's shirtless and he was smoking a cigar. It was Andrew Tate, obviously. He had no fucking chin. right? You could tell that this
He
guy
has
is
the weirdest walk, the weirdest face. Like,
yeah, and you look at him, and he was talking about bitches and having money and cars and everybody's a loser, blah blah blah. And I watched it for like 5 seconds. I was like, oh, this guy is like, you completely understand who this person is. You understand, like in the moment, I understood. Oh, well, this is just a guy saying shit for attention, right? And you could also say, well, this guy's a fucking moron. He's a loser and a moron, and he has no chin. Like you can tell these things from the first 5 seconds that you see an Andrew Tate piece. And it was a learning experience for me because of how many people were okay with that. I think initially
mhm.
they were okay with it because they found it humorous. I actually think that I think you keep saying men. Really, I think you need to zero this in, and this is actually where you come in. It could, you're not talking about men. You're talking about married men.
Yeah.
Married men are the demographic that you need to fucking talk to, because us single guys out there, man, we're still trying to figure out the world. We're just trying to get fist bumps at the gym. You know what I mean? I think I think married men are really the people that need therapy. Married men are the ones that really need to get
Oh,
into it.
I hear you.
Need to
Because I
figure this
think
shit.
they think that because they got married, because they have a
Yes.
house, because they have a
Yeah.
car, because they have a job,
Yeah.
they think that they've done it. They've done
It's
it. Oh, I don't need to do anything else. I've succeeded on all the things. I kind of like my wife, whatever. Like, she throws it down for me. She cooks,
she's
whatever.
got a she's got a nice caboose.
She's got a nice caboose. I hate her in a jumpsuit, but she's got a nice caboose. Like, I think that I hear you. I think that there is I and I'm speaking, and I want to say, you and I are specifically talking about like our community. Every
Yes.
community is a little different, right? We can speak more so about our own community. I have no idea what's going on with white men. Don't get
Yeah.
me started there. Whoa. But like, at least with South Asians, I think that there is like this, we're a very task, especially Muslims, we're like a very task-based people. Like,
Mhm.
you wake up and you pray 5 times a day, and during Ramadan you fast, and you get married, and you go to the mosque on Fridays, and you
Yeah.
do these things, right? You've done the things. You have the checklist of what makes you a good man, right? Of the things that you've been raised to believe, like, this makes you a good man, and you did those checklists. So why would your wife still be unhappy? Why would I need to do anything else? Why do I need to what do you mean unlearn? What do you mean unlearn? What does that mean?
Mhm.
There's no space for it, and I think that there is such a huge opportunity. Imagine, okay, real imagine me going into the masjid, and being like doing a TED talk about this. They would burn me at the stake.
I'd give them the gas. I'd be like, shut her up. Come on, guys. Shh. Because I'd be
Like,
worried you'd reveal some of my secrets.
no,
You
like,
crazy? I gotta
imagine.
survive in this
No,
environment.
genuinely though, think about it. If I was to walk into like the group of guys that you play football with, or that like my husband goes to play basketball with at the mosque,
Mhm.
and I was like, fellas, let's talk about therapy. Let's talk about how you could better your life. Like,
Mhm.
I actually think, and this is going to sound crazy, I think if there's 8 guys there, I'm going to say about 6 of them are going to be like, no, it's not a bad idea.
I'm sure.
Genuinely. I
And
genuinely believe that.
I genuinely believe that um there are, you may not see it, and because you're not in those environments, right? But genuinely, even in like these sports groups or whatever, they may not check every one of your boxes. Well,
Mhm.
they may not check every one of your boxes. They may like things that you disagree with. There may be there's probably a lot of things that you don't like about their worldview or whatever. But for all of the shit that you and I are giving them, like these men are trying to do the best with what their understanding is. Now, I
Sure.
will say, is there a lack of work to try to understand more? Yes, there is, right? There is also a lot of pressure, especially in these Southeast Asian communities, right? I know you may not see it, but there is pressure of being a dude and providing for the family,
Yes.
because yes, there is, and it's not just your family, you also have to worry about your
Your
mother and your
parents.
father.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Anything else that's going on, if there's a wedding in the family, everybody's got to fucking dole out 10K for some reason. But so there are these pressures, and so how do you kind of bring all those things together? I don't know. You have to look at the culture. You have to look at everything that's going on in society. You have to create space for men, because one of the reasons why you, instead of doing the work, you just instead just watch an Andrew Tate video, and then see the video after that, which is a young girl working out or whatever the hell it is that happens. The reason why it happens is because you're too fucking tired from your day to day, right? You're like, I don't want to fucking go to therapy. I can just turn my mind off and I
So what
can
you're saying is
consume this horseshit.
capitalism is a problem.
I think capitalism is not the best. No bueno.
No, no, I don't love that. Anyway, that was a good talk, Raheel.
Yeah, 40 minutes. 40
Oof.
minutes turning against my brothers? That's bullshit. This episode cannot go out.
um, I wanted to talk next about have you heard of this feud of Dave Chappelle versus your gal Lauren Boebert?
I have heard of that feud, yes.
It is absurd because the only losers in it are both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave Chappelle recently was like, I don't like the Republican Party, like Lauren Boebert and whoever else politicized and weaponized my trans jokes. First of all, David. David, you're not the victim in in the jokes that you made of poking fun and making fun of trans people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the victim here. Okay. So he's like, I'm the victim because these Republicans used me to prop up, whatever. Because I guess he took a picture with them. It was like Lauren Boebert, Dave Chappelle, and some other dipshit. I posted a picture and it was like 3 people who believe in like gendered bathrooms or something like that, right?
Yeah, I was like 3 people that believe that there's 2 genders or something like that.
Some dumbass shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Chappelle's like, oh, I only did that because like I was taking a picture in passing and I didn't realize that they were gonna post it and and I should have just declined. And I'm just little old Dave Chappelle. I don't know who these people are and I didn't know what they were gonna do, right? Meanwhile, he has actively, openly talked about like, yeah, I'm a TERF. Like he does not care for trans people. Okay. He doesn't respect them. He doesn't get it. It's just a hill that he has chosen to die on. And he said, oh, I wasn't expecting them to like weaponize my jokes because they're just jokes. And then Lauren Boebert came out and she was like, how dare Dave say that I weaponized his jokes if the only thing that there are jokes of is trans people. Trans people are the joke. And I was like, wait, what is going on? And she was like, come on, Dave, have some thicker skin. And it was like Dave Chappelle again just openly talking about like, oh, these Republicans, they're using me to politicize, they politicized me or my jokes. They're just jokes. You gave them another opportunity to get on a mic or get in front of somebody and talk about how, what they think about trans people. And ultimately, you are harming the trans community and Lauren Boebert is harming the trans community, but you're both acting like you're the victim in this situation.
So this topic, I think, is a pretty it's a I don't know if it's nuanced, because there's a version of this where you just say, well, no, there's no fucking nuance here.
No.
There's no conversation here, right? Like I think back to like when he did those jokes. Like I remember this was like 4 or 5 years ago, right? It's probably somewhere in the height of the pandemic. I remember watching that special. And so Dave Chappelle has this thing that he can kind of fall back on and say, "Hey, I was making jokes and I'm a comedian and I can say whatever I want to, because the purpose of all this is to be making a joke, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, I, I will. I guess this should be more of a disclaimer, because Dave Chappelle is a comedian that I have not given up on, right? For lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I haven't given up on, like, he isn't canceled for me, right?
Okay.
And that is coming from a place of privilege. I completely understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that me not canceling Dave Chappelle and still finding room in my life to find him funny and find him a voice that is a voice that is valuable in
Mhm.
society overall, that is because I have the privilege of not being directly harmed by his jokes, right?
Mhm.
If somebody wants to say fuck Dave Chappelle and he is done for me, I 100% sign off on that, right? I'm just telling you, I haven't gotten to that level. To contrast that with somebody like Louis C.K., who is somebody that I was also a big fan of before. For me, Louis C.K. is canceled. For me, I don't
Mhm.
give a fuck about Louis
Yeah,
C.K.
you're not
Right?
consuming
So
anything.
I'm not
Yeah.
consuming anything. I'm still consuming Dave Chappelle stuff. When the
Okay.
story came out, right? Because there's an NPR interview that he did, and I don't know if you've watched the rest of the interview or not.
No.
But it is like everything that I see with Dave Chappelle. It especially in those types of settings, it is very thoughtful, and he thinks a lot about. He's a serious person. But you can tell or what I get out of it again, and this is my privilege speaking. I understand that is that Dave Chappelle at the end of the day does not want to hurt people. Like I don't think that he wants to hurt somebody that is transgender. I think what happened in this situation was Dave Chappelle did not give a shit what impact his jokes were having
Yep.
on trans people. Like he wanted the laugh more so than anything else, right? He didn't stop to kind of recognize what his jokes were actually doing. And so after that, after all this stuff happened and after he saw what his jokes like who the people are that he was basically grouped in with as a result of the jokes that he fucking made himself, right? He doesn't like that feeling. He doesn't
Yeah.
like the feeling that, hey, I'm also being looped in with these actual hateful people that
Yeah.
want trans people to die or whatever, right? That's what he doesn't like. And that is, I hope that he sees this as a learning opportunity. I hope that he sees that, hey, my jokes and when I go fucking full bore into some hateful shit, like there are certain things within that special where you just go, you don't need to say that, right? You don't need to kind of double down on a lot of this stuff. Like you can talk about what's going on in society with this subject. You can still be kind of funny if you want to, right? But you don't have to be like the some of the things the way that he said it. You can say that it's a joke, but it came off as hateful, and what
Mhm.
that hate led was it led to him being grouped in with all these people. So
Yep.
I hope he kind of takes a minute to like reflect back and see, okay, well, this is why I have to be a little bit more careful because at the end of the day, whether or not that's how he wants it to be interpreted or not, the way that society and pop culture works now is people can claim you for themselves, right? You just
Yeah.
need to give them an inch. They're looking for that shit. They're looking to
Yep.
tie you up into their hateful agenda, right? So I don't know, man. Like I like that he came out and he talked about it. I don't like that he was victimizing himself. Like he was saying that I'm the victim in all this. I wish that he does like the next step and says, "Oh, you know what? I realize now this is the reason why it happened." I haven't heard that
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
the thing, right? Like, and you know what? Maybe if Dave had more people to talk to. In other news, some positive political news. I know that obviously some terrible things are happening, but Zohran Mamdani is really on his tax the rich train and everybody's on board. Choo choo. Did you see that he is going to tax people? Raheel, you're in. It's gonna be not so good for you. If you have a pied a terre that is worth more than $5 million in New York
Oh.
City,
Oh, mine's
then
3.75 million.
you're in luck. You will be getting taxed a little bit more, and he will be using that tax to fund things like, I don't know, universal childcare,
Mhm.
better subways, better transit, more healthcare opportunities, et cetera, et cetera, more social services.
Mhm.
People are mad. People are like, how are everyday Americans gonna live when he goes around taxing multi-million-dollar building owner landlords and people with second homes?
Uh-huh. It's a valid point, I would say.
It's so crazy. We have been looking at like houses lately just out of curiosity, and we went and looked at two houses, and one was like really nice, and we were like, oh man, this house is amazing. And my son said, well, why can't we just have two houses? And I was like, oh,
Hey, you want to
well,
talk about raising men, talking to
yeah.
men? How about that? How about we not tell? How about we not raise kids that think that we should have two houses?
I said, "Do you know how much houses cost?" And then like we actually had a conversation with him and he
Yeah.
was like, how much did you guys buy our house for?" And I told him and he was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Well, it's something called a mortgage." We explained a mortgage to him.
Hmm.
He's like, "Wait, so he's like, all right, so if I wanted to buy like $1 million house, it's like I'd probably take like a 30-year mortgage and then you'd have 30 years to pay it off." He goes, "Oh, so I just have to divide 1 million by 30." And I was like, "Well, you have to pay interest and property taxes and home insurance." And he was just so stressed out. He was so stressed out. But my point is like, people are because they don't understand. Again, media literacy all time low. Children have been left behind.
Hmm.
People are like, how can he do this to everyday Americans? And I'm just so happy for him. I love it. I love that he's just like, okay, anyway,
I
let me
mean,
read some books with Barack Obama at this preschool.
that was so adorable, by the way. All the kids
I
were like
know.
hugging him and stuff. There was, that clip that he had, or whatever. I think it was a post on Instagram where he was standing outside that dude's house and he
Yeah.
pointed it out. There was a, there was like a host on CNBC, and she was like, "This is messed up. He is villainizing. He is antagonizing this one guy. People are going to be out for him." That guy is the CEO of Citadel, which is like one of the biggest hedge funds there is. He's worth like multi billions of dollars. And also, it's okay that he pointed out his place because he doesn't fucking live there. That's the whole point. If he lived there, it's his secondary home.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. They're like, people were like, I live in Florida and I have a second home in New York. And now you're saying that if I live out of state, I have to pay taxes in the home that, yeah, I would hope that you are. That's insane.
So crazy.
People are really calling themselves out. And it is really funny when poor people are like looping themselves. I'm like, do you have a second home? I didn't think so. It's like a friend of mine, her mom didn't like Harris because of the capital gains taxes that they
Yeah.
were going to impose. And she had to ask her mom, like, do you have $1 million in capital gains? You
Do you
don't
have
even own a
capital
home.
gains?
Do you have capital gains? Do you know what capital gains are?
I stopped that at capital. I don't have capital. I got nothing.
But you do have gains, which is why
Oh,
you're getting fist bumps in the
I'm getting.
wild.
That's why I'm getting fisted in the wild.
In other positive news, our former District 11 of New
Hmm.
Jersey, NJ11, which used to be Mikey Sherrill's district, had their election. And I think originally, I couldn't remember, but like Analilia Mejia was kind of, maybe it was like interim she won. And then now they had like a proper election. And then now, I don't know if it was like a runoff or what. There was a special election.
Hmm.
Point is, she smoked out the Republican candidate. She won by like 64% or something. And I just
Hmm.
want to talk about that for a minute because we grew up there
Yeah.
and it was not very, I mean, look, I think we always talk about this. You had a different experience than I did. Even our
I
mom
had a
had a
great
different
fucking
experience.
time.
You had a great time. Me, not so much. Not so good for
Hmm.
me. Right. But
Hmm.
it is really incredible to see, like, between Zohran and then now Analilia Mejia, who by the way is a super progressive candidate. Like she is Israel is committing genocide, do not want APAC money, think ISIS fucked up, like think that we should have like, socialized healthcare. She is a working party's candidate. So
Yeah.
um a working families party, right? She is a super progressive candidate and she won in a landslide. And I would just hope that the Democrats are paying just the tiniest bit of attention, just like the itty bittiest of attention to be like, interesting. So it is possible for very progressive people to get voted in
Hmm.
to areas that are historically red, if not purple,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, that's really exciting. I feel like anytime that even I think, because like I've had my own like instances of being like, oh no, that seems like too progressive. Like I'll give you an example. 2016, I did not think, I was like, oh fuck, even this Bernie thing is kind of cute, but there's no way he's gonna win. There's
Yeah.
no way that anybody should be supporting him. I think that was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like anytime I think that something is too far left, I have been proven wrong. I thought the
Yeah.
same thing about Zohran Mamdani, right? Like I thought
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, there's no way they're gonna elect this guy. And it comes down to, I think not it comes down to two things. Number one is like I feel I don't know, I feel like maybe this isn't right because we did also discover that the country is more racist in certain ways than you think. But uh but
The pendulum goes swinging, man. It
the
goes the
pendulum
other way.
exactly. So I think what it really comes down to, the reason why AOC got elected, the reason why Zoran got elected, is because more so than what people think of like leftist agendas, like socialism, blah blah. Blah. What it comes down to is like things that make sense, like logic wins out, right? The reason why Zoran was elected, or the reason why he won over somebody like what's his face, our friend Cuomo, right, is
Mm-hmm. Your
because
buddy.
my buddy is because at the end of the day, like the things that he was talking about just made more sense. Like he was making a better argument. And when you make a better argument, when you actually talk about people and their lives, things like capital gains taxes and things like being worried about a billionaire's penthouse, those aren't real life issues, right?
Yep.
And so when you have a progressive candidate that is talking to real life people, and that's how they make sense, because guess what, like the rest of us out here, the non-billionaires, shit's getting tougher and it does not make sense, and a lot of this shit is just stupid, and we shouldn't be giving all of these like tax credits to all the ultra wealthy or whatever. So I don't know. I'll say is it's really inspiring.
It is really inspiring. I think that you're bringing up a really good point, which is that like I think that Democrats we like to talk about, like at least the establishment Democrats that we've seen. And look, I mean, I voted for them, right? So it's like I will vote for them, whatever. But I think that the campaigns often, when it gets to like the primary, like the main election, right? It goes to a presidential election. It's like we are a party of immigrants, and we are a party of black and brown people, and we're a party of equality and inclusion and all of these things. But all of our policies, when we talk about our policies, we say things like capital gains taxes,
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't know what that means. um I don't even have a cap, to be honest. Forget capital, right? So like I think that that's the thing, right? Like all of our policies, and I, like, again, I voted for it, but like I think our policies end up getting like too technical. Like, people are saying like, oh, the Democrats, like we're too much into identity politics. I would argue that we're not. I would argue
Yeah.
that we're like very technical and very smart in the way that we talk about how systems work, when actually what we should be talking about is like baseline things. We should be taxing the rich so that we can get more social services. Like Kathy, I think, what's her name? Hochul?
Hochul.
Yeah, she's the governor of New York, right?
Hmm.
She's like on board with Zoran. She's like, yeah, let's tax the rich. You know what? Let's try it out.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. And so, like, there is progression towards that direction. And there has to be, because even in this world where we're like, oh no, we should try to be, just because they're going all the way far right doesn't mean that we should leave the center. No, I think it's time to abandon the center.
Just
We
fucking
no
leave this
longer
country.
live in the world where center can exist.
Yeah.
Okay. Center exists one on one. Sure, I share my neighborhood with people who maybe did vote for Trump, right? That's where the
Hmm.
center lives. But from like a government perspective, from like what we need to undo the damage being done by this sociopath, we got to go the other way. The pendulum's got to swing the other way.
I agree.
Sad news at the end of this episode today.
Hmm.
RIP, lesbian power couple,
Oh.
Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe.
Hmm.
Now, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
They have a podcast, and they went on their podcast and they like announced their breakup,
Yeah.
right? I want to know, do you think that's necessary?
I don't know. I wasn't that emotionally invested in their relationship or their podcast.
You know,
I
you
don't
and
know.
I are not white lesbians, so I don't know.
By
We
the way,
don't we don't cover
we don't
that
have the
ground.
time to talk about this, but I'd say both of those ladies are really, really. Well, sorry. Let me just answer your question. No, I don't think it was necessary for them to announce it. I think a tweet might have been fine, or a nothing. Hey, let's just stop podcasting and then put out a statement and say, hey, we're done here. But they did it with a lot of love. With
They
only
did. They did. They did it with a lot of love, but then they were like, just so you know, we're not going to be podcasting together. Sue's going to be by herself and I'm going to be by myself. And like, then we're going to have our own podcasts and stuff. And it was as if we were their children and we were like involved in the divorce with them. And they were like, we still have this house right now, but sometimes mom's going to be here and sometimes other mom's going to be here. But I'm getting my own place and mom's getting her own place. And sometimes it just felt like, the parasocial relationships we have are
Mhm.
like a touch too much,
They are. Yeah.
I think like it's weird. Like, Arthi used to podcast with me all the time. She was like my official co-host.
Hmm.
And then we were like, hey, yeah, like Arthi has like a big girl job. Like she is an important person in the state of Maryland. She can't really be on here listening to me yell about white women, right?
Hmm.
And like there were still so many messages from people being like several episodes later being like, where did Arthi go? What happened? Was there a fight? Are you okay? And I was like, no, it's fine. She just got busy. But I think we should table that. I think that we should, like one day if you stop being my brother,
Yeah.
I don't think that we're going to announce it. I'm just going to say, I got really sick of men, murdered him, put him in a grave. You know what I mean? You guys don't need to know about it. What were you going to say about them as a couple?
It's not. It's just me being a bitch. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to use that word derogatively. But I do. No, there is something about, I don't know. I remember the Megan Rapinoe. Obviously, uh, this isn't worth it.
All right,
So
it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let's move on. More importantly, did you see Sabrina Carpenter and Madonna sing
here
like
we
a prayer
go.
together?
Come on. Every week with Sabrina Carpenter, and then you wonder, oh, hey, I don't know why men like infantilizing women. I don't know why men seem to enjoy that aesthetic. You know why you got a 4'5"
I'll be honest, I don't know if men
tiny
are into
person.
Sabrina Carpenter. Are they into
Okay.
her? They are?
Yeah, no, men aren't into a young-looking girl wearing lipstick with a fucking dog collar around her neck. No, of
Okay,
course
the
not.
dog collar's over. Okay, relax. Move on. My point is, did you see her sing one of our favorite Madonna songs of all time with Madonna at Coachella, Like a Prayer?
I did not. See,
Oh.
I saw that they were both together, and I thought, hey, this is great for somebody, just not for me.
Oh, no, you would have loved it. You are a big Madonna head. You do love Madonna. Don't act like you don't.
I like a prayer a lot. I like something's coming over. Ooh. My baby's got a secret. I
Yeah.
like that 94 album. I like the what's the one, Music? Was that the one? Music.
Yeah. No, but there's a song that
Oh,
of
there's a song
Madonna's.
like the Felicity song. I love that's one of my favorite all-time favorite songs of all time. Do you know Felicity song? Power of Goodbye.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah. Power of
nothing
Goodbye. Yeah.
left
You
to
love
say.
Madonna. You
I
love
listen
Power
to
of
that in
Goodbye.
the
There's
I
another one
listen
that
to
you
that in
really
the sauna.
No, that's a really good song to
That's a
listen
great
to
song.
in the
I know.
sauna. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at her top hits. She's amazing.
Yeah,
And
Madonna's good.
she's good. Anyway, she sang it with Sabrina Carpenter, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, Sabrina Carpenter, your vocals are amazing." Listen, I love Sabrina Carpenter too. But like, is Like a Prayer really a song that requires like amazing vocals?
I'm trying to think of what's like the part.
First of all, I just want to say when the church choir joins in the background,
Yeah.
that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, right?
Also, yes. That's also. I mean,
And you
we don't. We
got
got
you got a lot of claps going.
we got a huge black influence. That maybe I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair to Madonna, I do believe that she did highlight a lot of black people.
Oh yeah,
In
the music
in the
video
name.
it shows a black man. So
A
yeah,
black Jesus.
A Black Jesus, even.
You know who that was? Oh,
Who?
this is gonna blow your mind. Oh no,
No,
don't
no,
look it
no.
up.
No, no,
No,
no.
no,
Look it,
no,
look
don't
it.
look it up. I'll
No,
tell
no.
you. I'll
Okay,
tell you.
fine,
I'll
fine,
tell
fine.
you. It was Leon.
Cynthia Bailey's husband, ex-husband, baby
Yeah.
daddy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. It was him. Oh my God, you're right. Wow. Good for you, Cynthia Bailey.
Okay, good for me for knowing that.
And good for you for knowing that. I can't even believe that you remembered his name. That's amazing. Anyway, it did make me happy. I watched it. I watched the clip. It was great. Also at Coachella, The Strokes, who I did love, it was part of my personality in the 2000s was being a fan of The Strokes. The Strokes did their final song. They like basically in the background showed all the clips of all the times that the CIA has been involved in overthrowing countries and just, doing a little mess about
Yeah.
globally. And they dedicated to the last university in Gaza that Israel blew up. And I was like, you know what? Good for you, Strokes.
Yeah.
We're still using art to send messages.
Indeed. Although
Yeah,
the lead singer of the Strokes, Julian, whatever his name is,
I heard.
his his dad owned a modeling agency. Is that what you heard?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah.
you go, where is the response? Where do we? I think that ultimately
He was a child.
he was a child. Of course. I'm being ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah, his dad was part of elite model management,
Mm-hmm.
which was also part of big part of America's Next Top Model as well. But
By
I
the
know.
way, have you watched that documentary?
I haven't. A lot of my friends watched it and I watched clips of it and it does not look good for my girl Tyra.
I watched the first episode, and then I watched a little bit of the second episode, and it just made me angry and sad.
You said, ooh.
No,
Oh,
it's truly like horrendous shit. Like it truly is like really awful shit. And I go like it made me not like that I watched the first episode. That's how awful it was. Because when I watched the first episode, because you and I used to watch that show together,
mm-hmm.
man, you dragged me into a lot of bullshit, including this.
And you were like, hey, you want to watch The Wire? And I was like, no, thanks.
No, fuck off. Tell you to watch one sports documentary. You're like, no, ew, yuck, that's a patriarchy. Because I remember watching America's Next Top Model, and I was like, oh, this was like a fun show for me or whatever. So the first episode, I was kind of like remembering that, and then the second episode, it's a story about like sexual assault.
Yes.
That's what it is, and they played it off like cheating, and that's so fucking horrific. And you go, man, like I don't need a fucking documentary about like the making of America's Next Top Model, right? I need a documentary about why all these people aren't in fucking jail right now. Like that's really what the documentary.
No,
should
I
be.
know. I get it. And here's the thing. We as women grew up. Hello, I had a severe eating disorder from the time I was like 14 years old to probably 30, 31. And all that shit goes into the shit that we consumed, right?
Yeah,
And to go back to my earlier point, we got to do the unlearning. We have to
yeah,
go, hey, this isn't good for us as a society. Let's cap it. Let's not do that. Okay.
I agree.
Anyway, listen, I don't know if I'm going to have an episode next week. I am
Ooh.
going to be on a lot of drugs, speaking of
Ooh.
420, because I have my surgery on Wednesday.
Ooh. I'm acting
Yeah.
surprised I know this.
Yeah, you do know it. If I mentioned it before on the podcast, I'm gonna say it again. I guess if you missed it, is I'm having a prophylactic mastectomy and a reconstruction because my chances of getting breast cancer are anywhere between 70 to 75%. And I said, no, thanks. And so I'm doing a prophylactic mastectomy. We're doing a reconstruction. It's a whole thing. I'm going to be in the hospital for a couple of days. And I feel pretty excited. I feel very empowered by the fact that I have access to healthcare and that I'm able to take care of my body and I'm able to make this like big decision for myself because, at the end of the day, it is the body that grew and raised and fed two children. And I feel a lot of feelings about like how my body is going to change possibly
Mm-hmm.
After this, I actually had like, I'm so like, I'm very when I make a decision, I've made a decision, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think about the pros. If I see a good pro, it's just like, oh, I don't even have to think about the rest of it. Like, oh, this is going to take my chances of breast cancer from 75% to like less than 1. Oh, great, done. Sign me up. I'm all in, right? And I was thinking about that so intensely that it wasn't until this weekend that I was like, oh, my body's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something that I was like ready to think about yet. And I had this realization that, like I said, I had eating disorder for like 16 years. This is the first time in my life as a 40-year-old that I say 90% of the time, I look at myself and I go, I like what I see.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
like it.
Yeah, me too.
I like what I see. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect.
No.
You
Oh,
know,
absolutely not.
there's a lot of bumps and bruises, and there's a lot of marks and all these things, but I was like, it's the first time in my life that I really genuinely like my body. I really like the way I look. I really enjoy the way I look. And I got a little bit of surgery cold feet because I was like, what if I don't like the way I look?
Yeah.
And my friend said to me, isn't that just such a beautiful thing that your cold feet was based off of your love for your body
Oh.
and not, your fear of like this big surgery? She was like, it shows that you're so privileged, you have access to healthcare, you're not scared of so many things, you have good care, you've got your kids are good, your job is good, you have job security. Your only fear, your only worry is based off of your love for yourself. And I was like, wow. As a self-loathing person, that is amazing.
That's really great. I'm really happy for you. Um, about this reconstruction, you think they can put a hotspot in there so you you never without Wi-Fi
No, but what if they put an air tag in there?
in case we lose you?
In case you lose me, who's looking? Let's be honest.
Don't say that.
It's like-
I just want to say best of luck. Obviously, I don't know why I'm saying this.
yeah.
I will be talking to you before then also, but I'm sure everything is gonna go great.
Yeah.
And I am, hey, whatever you need to do to be healthier and feel better about yourself, that is great. In case things go sideways, I am once again asking for the logging information for the Patreon, specifically where you change the banking information.